Hey, everybody. Welcome to FBC Missions So That podcast. We're so glad that you joined us today. We have some of our team members from our Mexico trip recently. We have Brooklyn and Julianne, and I think you guys are going to have a great time hearing their stories. Welcome to FBC Missions So That podcast. This is an encouraging place to hear how God is working in and around us. We know that He blesses His people so that they can bless the world around them. Join us as we discuss how to join God in all that He is doing. Why is God working in our life, church, and community? It's so that through us, the world will know that He is near. All right. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. As you know, my name is Chad. I'm the missions pastor here at First Baptist Church in Boerne, and I love getting to do this podcast. And so today I have a couple new guests with me. I'm so excited they're here with me in the studio. And we're excited to get to know them. So one is Jill. How are you doing, Jill?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great. So glad to have you. Have you done a podcast before?
I have not, but I've been wanting to.
All right.
So.
All right. Well, This is the beginning of your social media debut online. And we also have Brooklyn. Hi, Brooklyn.
Hello.
You doing okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Have you been doing this stuff forever? You're like an influencer?
Oh, no, not at all.
Well, we're so glad that both of you are joining us on the podcast. There's so many fun things that I'd like to we'll jump into at Mexico. Before we do, tell us a little bit about yourselves, like maybe how old you are, where you go to school, kind of maybe how long you've been around First Baptist Church.
Okay, so I'm Jill, and I'm 15, and I go to Boerne High. I have no idea how long I've been here. I've been here for forever, probably like 10 years.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Great.
I'm Brooklyn. I just turned 17. And I go to Champion High School. I'm about to be a senior.
Oh, man, you guys are like on opposite sides of the Boerne spectrum here.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But I've been coming to First Baptist for maybe 3 years, 4 years. Okay. Not very long, but...
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you guys got to go on the Mexico mission trip this summer.
Yes.
Is this the first mission trip that you've been on?
Yes.
Yeah, both of you. Okay, let me ask you just something quick. Did you go to camp last year? Before we get into that, why did you want to go? What made you interested in going to another country with your church?
So for me, it was actually like very random, just spontaneously like, oh my gosh, I have to go. And I didn't know why that I had such a need to go, but we realized it was just like a God calling, like saying, we want you to go. We want you to make an impact. So like, it wasn't necessarily that like I had a want to go. It was that I had a need to go.
Well, Brooklyn, how long before the trip was that? Was it like 6 months ago? Was that like a year ago? When did you start feeling like you really needed to be a part of this team?
It was when the applications came out.
So it was probably like last fall, right at the end of the fall. October is when we announced them. So I think they start signing up until January. So yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
I think mine was also very random. I've been wanting to go for like 2 years, but my mom was like, I don't know if you're ready for this. And we've been like talking to Linda about it and everything. And on like a random day at my mom's hair salon, I was like, Mom, I want to go to the Yucatan mission trip. And she was like, okay, we'll do that. And the minute I said that, she went on her computer and signed me up. And it was just a God moment. And I'm very thankful for it.
That's awesome. Same time, kind of last fall when we started announcing it. Well, this was probably the single biggest team we've ever taken.
Yeah,
I think
it was huge.
42 people, so that's a lot of logistics. I mean, you guys basically were the only people on the plane. No, I'm kidding. Probably half the plane, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty incredible to be on a plane with 40 of your friends. That's that's a lot of people.
It was fun.
I bet it was. It's you guys did you fly through? It was a direct flight.
It was a direct flight.
Okay, great. Well, let me ask you again before we jump into the trip itself. In the preparation, as you were considering going, you'd filled out the application. Did you guys have to raise money?
Yes, we had to raise, what was it, like
$1,200 or so?
$1,250 or something.
Was that daunting, or is that a big thing, or was that just easy?
It was like scary because I was like, how am I supposed to raise that much? But like me and my mom were like, okay, you pay half of it, I'll pay half of it.
Okay.
But then through fundraising, I ended up getting my whole trip paid for.
That's awesome. How did that make you feel, like to know that people are behind you, that the Lord's supporting this trip for you? And
it put me at peace knowing like God made a way for me to be able to go, which means it was part of his plan. And so there's a purpose for me going. So I had a lot more peace about the trip.
Yeah. When I was 13 years old, actually, I think I was 12 years old, our trip my church, which was in northern Arkansas, did the first Mexico mission trip, and I got to go with them. I was too young to go, but they made an exception for me. But at the time, I had to raise like $600 to go on the trip, and our family didn't have any money, and so like I had to pray and ask the Lord, and then we sent out letters and we talked to some people, and it was amazing because God provided everything I needed for the trip. And it was amazing for me on the trip to see that there were people in Mexico who had so much less than I did, because I felt like I had so little compared to the people around me there. And it was really a meaningful thing for me. So I'm excited you got to go through that. Sometimes we don't have to, and we don't really recognize the need. So that's really neat that you got to go through that, Brooklyn. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the trip itself. So, you get on a flight. You're going to fly all the way to Cancun. So again, it's a blessing. Southwest has a direct flight from San Antonio. If we can get it, it's great. Sometimes we don't. So I'm glad you got to do that. So you land in Mexico. Have you been to Mexico on vacation other times? Is this your first time?
I was on a cruise, but it wasn't really the same.
No, it's definitely not. People go to Cancun, which is exactly where you guys went from, but it's not the same. You see a different part of Cancun altogether. Have you been out of the country before?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay. So you guys speak Spanish or anything?
No.
Un poquito.
Poquito. Solo, casi nada. No, that's good. Well, that's awesome too. It's one of the fun things about mission trips is that cultural and linguistic interaction where you get to see how people live in a completely different world, right? So what were your first impressions?
I don't know. I was kind of nervous in the morning. Like I didn't sleep at all the night before. And then I was like talking to my mom. She just like, we prayed a lot before the trip and talked to a lot of family members saying that to pray for us and stuff. And I don't know. It just kind of felt weird, but also like normal at the same time. I don't know. It was a weird feeling when we got there.
Yeah, I barely slept that night at all. Like I woke up probably around 1:30 in the morning and didn't go back to sleep.
This is your first night in Mexico?
Oh, no, this was
the night before.
Right before we went to Mexico.
Before you left, okay.
Right, like the morning that we came to the church, we met here at like 5 in the morning. But I had woken up at 1:30 in the morning because I was just so like nervous. And the bus ride to the airport was definitely like the most like nerve-wracking part. So you're like, oh, I have to go through customs. I have to do all these things I've never done before. But once you get to Mexico and like once you're through the airport and in the vans on the way to the houses, like you just have just this feeling of calmness. You're with your team, and it was like absolutely beautiful there. So
yeah, what time did you guys arrive? Middle of the day over there?
Yeah, I think like 1 or 2 in the afternoon.
So you guys just got checked into the house. Probably went and got dinner after that.
Yeah.
So your first impressions of Mexico, is it wild to walk out the door and everyone's speaking a different language, or did it seem pretty normal?
I think since we're like living in San Antonio, we're kind of used to people speaking Spanish and all the things, but it was a little different because you're trying to communicate with them and they have no idea what you're talking about.
Sure.
And so it was very hard with the language barrier. It was really hard.
I don't think it was the language that I thought was strange. I just thought it was the entirely different culture and the way people do things there. And like going from US dollars to pesos and stuff like that. That was strange, but it was also like fun to get to learn about.
Yeah, it's funny when everything changes. Your money, your language, the culture, the music, the just kind of everything. The way the cars are, just kind of all. Yeah, they're all. Yeah, it's just different. So that's awesome. Well, you guys, you had a whole week there. You guys did a lot of different things. So explain to me some of the things you guys did. Tell me about the mission trip itself.
We went to Kingdom Academy for, I think we went on Thursday, and then Friday we had our recharge day, and then Saturday we went back for like our big VBS, which was so much fun. But also we were all exhausted, and so we were all like, bah, but we got through it.
Well, tell me, what is Kingdom Academy for those listeners who are not sure what that is? Tell us about it.
So it's a school in Mexico, and only certain kids can go. So they like do like a drawing. So they put like random names into a drawing, and they pick a certain amount of names, and if your name gets picked, you get to go to that school. And I think there's 4 or 3 seniors graduating, and they're going to get their high school diploma for the U.S., I think, so they can travel to the U.S. and stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah. So there's a ministry called YWAM Cancun. YWAM is Youth with a Mission. It's a great organization that's really all around the world. And these families down there started the base, the YWAM base, and part of their mission was to try to impact this colonia, this neighborhood that lives is called Kunamaya, and it was formerly a squatters village. So like it was just people living on property, but that was like 30 years ago. And since then, they've built homes on these properties, and they don't necessarily own the property. It's kind of a messy thing because at some point the owner could try to get them out of there, and there's all kinds of arguments and fights over who actually owns the space they live on. But they started a school there, and I think they've got 32 students, something like that altogether.
Something like that, yeah. There's like they have a bunch of chairs set out on the little patio area where they all do their morning like Bible scripture, and they do a couple songs, and there was probably around 30 to 40 kids, so.
Yeah, I think that they had 27 last year, and they took 5 new students this year. So I think they're at around 30, 32, which every year they add a few. So like the student body there continues to grow. But it is K through 12.
Yeah.
And their seniors do an online program that allows them to get their full certification through a United States-based high school. So that's really good for them as well. Their English is pretty good by the time they finish the school, and it does provide a lot of opportunities for them. So great. You guys about to spend 2 whole days at Kunamaya at the Kingdom Academy. What stands out to you about that place and the kids there and the ministry there?
Something that stood out was that all the kids, they were just so happy. Like you would think they wouldn't be as happy because they don't have as much, but they're happy despite that, and they just trust in Jesus so much, and they are learning English, are really good at it. Like one of the kids, I think when we were there, they were learning the words short and tall, and so she told everyone they were short, and yet she's only like 7 years old.
That's funny.
So it's just so cool how they learn and like what their structured schedule was like. But yeah, that was really cool.
I think my biggest thing for the entire trip was just how happy everyone is. Like I was talking to Garrett, and I was like, I don't know how all these people are so happy when they have nothing. They have a home that's made out of concrete with a concrete floor and no windows and no doors. And that was just like a really big part of the trip. And then at the school, I think it was just, I guess like just how happy and how like fun they were. And they were just really happy to see Americans and see us do this stuff for them. And they were having such a great time at BBS. Like my little heart was just like exploding in happiness, like seeing all these little kids smiling and laughing and trying to talk to us. And it was just really...
And the VBS, was that just for the kids in the school or for the kids from the community as well?
So we did 2 different ones. Well, we kind of did 3. We did one out at Ranchito at all the ranches, where those kids, they don't see people that often. They live on their ranches and their homes, and they take care of animals and land. But so we did one out there, and then we did one for the Kingdom Academy school. We did just some worship and a little Bible truth with them.
Sure.
And then on the Saturday, they do something called Kingdom Kids, where people from the entire community can come together, even people not in the school.
Yeah.
And so that's when we did our big VBS and had all the stations.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's always fun. I've gotten to be there 3 times, I think, and it's a lot of fun always to see the Kunamaya community come out. But yeah, the families that are especially impacted in the school is really meaningful. Let's dig down just a little bit on something you said, Jill. You mentioned that even though they didn't have much, that they seemed content and happy with what they had. And you described a little bit about their house. Tell us a little bit more. Like what kind of homes did you see that they live in?
Okay, so we went to 2 different houses on Saturday, and I think it was Saturday. And one house was literally made out of concrete. There was no flooring. There was a door, the front door and a screen, but their beds are mainly hammocks. Their doors are giant concrete doors, and so it's impossible to open them, but I think they're so used to it that they're strong enough to do it. And like they're outside, like they don't have a front porch, they don't have anything. It's just a concrete little shed.
Well, inside the house, how many rooms do they have?
So the first house we went to, there was just one big area, which was like the living room and I think the kids' bedroom, and then you would walk like straight, not into the living room, and there was like this big concrete door that would open, and it was like another bedroom, and I think it had one window, but it wasn't very... Yeah. And then the second house had a front porch. It had like a garage thing where the car was, and then they had tiling on their floors. They had a fan. They had a big kitchen. They had a fridge. Actually, they had this giant room where they make plantains, and it was so cool because there were so many. Like probably fill this entire room we're in. And then you would walk straight, and there was the bed. So it was like a bunk bed, 2 hammocks, and then just a regular bed, which was really cool to see. But there's no restrooms. The restrooms are outside.
Yeah, the restrooms are outside. Definitely the houses are, even the one that you said is nice, it's got tile. Like the rooms are really small.
That's the nicest one.
They kind of, I think I don't think I've been to that one. But what you find in all these places are just really modest houses, and most of them are one room with a bed in the corner that may be the parents' bed. Yeah. They have like pallets on the floor. The kids sleep on the floor around them, or hammocks like you mentioned. Did you get to visit some houses as well?
Yeah, there was around 2 or 3 different times that we did house visits, and most of the ones I went to, it was like 3 like concrete walls and then a wall made of like mesh net, so like bugs wouldn't get in. And then like the most that we would be able to see was they might have had a fridge. If not, they just had food laying out on a table. And they just like, some of them didn't even have floors. It was like a dirt floor. And so like it puts you in a different mindset of like what these people live with. But yet they still feel so fortunate.
So let's talk about that. Like you mentioned, both of you mentioned one of the key things that stood out to you is kind of people's joy and kind of their happiness. So when you think about all that we have here, or maybe you think about how kids or people that you see at your school interact, you think we have lots of things, but do you think there's a difference in the kind of joy they have versus the kind of joy that you see people here have?
Definitely, because I think it was the second house I went to, the minute I walked in, I was handed food. But in America, if you go to someone's house, like a random person's house, like, why are you here? And kick you out and call the police and everything. And I think that was something I talked about with Garrett. And I was like, I literally went to this random lady's house, and I walked in and she gave me food. And then I was talking to him, like, in America, people are not generous like that. And I still wonder to this day, like, why people are like that. And I think it's a big thing with like not having a phone, not having electronics, and everything is a big part of how their joy is different.
Yeah.
And you the same way? Would you add anything to that?
Yeah, no, definitely. They're just so generous, and they're so giving, and they're so thankful that we're just there to tell them about Jesus and to pray with them. Like, I think something that was crazy was whenever we were doing like the medical brigade and like the VBS at one of the schools, not Kingdom Academy, but at one of the other schools, we went to houses, me and a couple other girls, and we just went up to every house that we saw and said, hey, can we pray for you? And not a single person turned us down. They all wanted prayer, and they all needed prayer, needed something to pray over, whether it was a house, family, just circumstances that they were in. And so the fact that they all wanted prayer and they wanted us to tell them more about Jesus was something that I thought was really cool.
Yeah, it's exciting when you go into an environment where people are very welcoming, very kind, very excited to see you and know you. And it does make you wonder maybe what it is that we're lacking in our culture and in our environment that makes us not be the same way. You're right. I'm pretty sure if we were just go from here today, walk out, just start knocking on doors, just down the street, we're going to have a very different type of reception.
Oh, yeah.
Now, to be fair, there are definitely places in Mexico where you might not have the same kind of kind reception, and maybe that community is somewhat accustomed to American teams because of the school there and the YWAM base. But it is something that they anticipate, they're excited for, and they're willing and excited to see you. So that's wonderful. Before we finish, I want to ask you like what your ideas are to see how to do something like that here, but we'll get to that in a minute. Okay. I don't know what that was.
It's loud.
We're in an entirely small room and you hear something fell down in the middle. Anyway, fun. Well, let's go on. So you guys got to hang out there at Kunamaya. What else did you do? I know that you guys did other things. So let's tell me some of the other projects you guys worked on.
One of the projects we did was we went to Milagro 1, and basically, so they don't have the big like concrete mixers that we have here in the States. So what we did is we took like the concrete solution powder, some dirt, gravel, rocks, and water, and made concrete on the ground with just shovels and pickaxes. And we used that to make like a pavement and like a little like patio area outside one of the areas that they use as like a church. So I thought that was really cool. And we all like pitched in some way, like someone was mixing dirt, some people were laying it down, some people were going to the roof to get the water. But yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was probably the most like God moment because we were at Ranchito. Me and Brooklyn were at Ranchito, and then after Ranchito, we went to Milagro 1, and we walked in, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is like a party. Like, everyone's laughing, there was music playing and everything. But Linda pointed something out after we left that I didn't see, and I don't think anyone else saw, but it was all of the people that were going to do the concrete and that are like workers there. They were just sitting down and just watching us and smiling and everything. And Linda was like, they were so happy that y'all were there doing that for them. And she starts crying, and I'm like, oh my gosh, don't cry. And I think that was something that was really good.
Yeah, it always is. There's a lot to all of that, and the manpower it takes to mix concrete. You guys feel like you're good at it? If I need to hire you guys for the weekend, you want you guys to do a concrete patio?
I was sore afterwards, but it was fun.
Yeah, I have like a giant scar on my thigh from carrying a bucket, and it like hit me.
Just
and I was
kept,
like, oh!
kept rubbing in the same spot.
Yeah.
I have a torn rotator cuff on my right shoulder because of a Mexico trip. When I was young, probably 20, 25, I was in Mexico, and I was the guy that was taking the bucket of concrete down here and lifting it over my head to the guy above me. And you do that all day long, and I was like, my shoulder was hurting, and I got home and it was messed up. Like, arm pressing concrete all day long isn't a good thing for your arms, but that's like normal, right? That's the way that they mix concrete there, and so it is a wild thing, and it's especially fun to take American teenagers. Yeah. Like, hey guys, this is what a hard day's work is like in another place in the world, because we really don't work that kind of way in our normal day here in the U.S. And so, man, that's a lot of fun. I can picture some of the people on your team, like Kelly Seals. And, Kelly was a madman.
And like some of the boys, they always were like, okay, let us do it. We're like, no, the girls can do this too. We can do this. We're strong.
I feel like I would want to do that more than like go into an office and sit at a computer all day. Like, I would want to do concrete. That looks so fun.
I
know, but it looks so fun.
It's fun for like 2 days. And then you'll be like, okay, I'm going to take the computer now. So that's fun. Well, that's awesome. Well, what else you guys got to do? You got another work projects that takes up a huge amount. The VBS, the work with the Kingdom Academy. Was there any other projects you guys did?
It wasn't really a project, but like the very first night we were there, like literally a couple hours after we got there, all the pastors in the area, they brought their kids for us to babysit while they went on a date night. And I thought that was really cool. We just got to hang out with all the kids and like get to know them. And it was cool because we got to see those kids like throughout the week, because a lot of them either went to Kingdom Academy or we would see them at the downtown church, which is also something we did. We held the Father's Day thing at the downtown church. And that was really cool because in Mexico, you don't always get to see a father in the family. But when we held the Father's Day dinner, you got to see all these families come in with their dads, and it was really special.
Yeah. I just blanked. I was going to say something. But
It's good. It's good. Well, there's so much history in all of this. Like there's the last several years, we've knocked down a wall in the downtown church. We've helped kind of create an additional space there. They've added the walls and classrooms in the past. So you guys get to go and see what's normal. But James, for instance, and Linda have watched this thing go from really basic to seeing all these buildings established and these ministries established over the last 20 years. And so it's really neat to get to continue to build on that and see that moving forward. So if someone's thinking about going to Mexico, what would you tell them?
Go for it, and like don't hold back. Like I'm someone who gets so anxious and like scared about new things. Like I'm not someone who likes change. But the second I got there, I was volunteering for everything I could. I wanted to like be so hands-on. And like, even though it was like really scary, it was like so rewarding and so fun to be able to experience everything for the first time. And even the people that have been doing it the past 20 years, like it was something new every day for them too. So it was just really fun. And I'd say be all hands on, like go for it. Don't hold back. So
yeah, Garrett was talking to me and was saying that I need to rally up a lot of sophomores to go because a bunch of seniors just left.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Yeah.
he was like, rally up a bunch of kids. And I was like, okay, I got this. And so I'm just trying to get as many as people as possible from school, from the hub. And yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. Well, there's so much you should know. Like, one is I'm trying to tell everybody that this is the perfect kind of on-ramp. It's the perfect place to start. And then people who go, I'm telling them, you can go a time or two or even three. Like, that's good to go because you build relationships and those things all like are meaningful. But beyond that, there's other places. So girls, like even now, start asking the Lord, like, what is it that you want to do long term? Like, I'm not saying you need to be long-term missionaries or lifelong career missionaries, but we have these trips that we're working on for students. Like, we're talking about a Guatemala option, or we're talking about. I've been leading a team to Turkey and Moldova and Republic of Georgia. Of course, there's the Africa trips too, and those are insane all by themselves. In fact, today we found out that our team over there, their van broke down.
Right?
Yeah.
And so they were trying to figure out what they're going to do, and they ended up walking 2 miles and finding a house that welcomed them in, and then they waited for a van to pick them up, and they're safe, they're good.
That's good.
But it was craziness in our world anyway. So all of that to say, like, there's so many good things. So please do, like, pray for your friends, invite them to go with you, and your families. There's family opportunities as well. But before we finish, a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
If there was one thing that you feel like God did in your heart that's going to last beyond your trip, what would it be?
For me, I would say I just have a new perspective on like not taking advantage of, or taking advantage of the things I have, and being like just so grateful. Because when we were there, and like especially on the recharge day, it's like you just spent hours working with kids, doing construction and all that, and then you get to go on a boat and go to an island and the beach. And so it felt kind of wrong. But at the same time, it kind of is good that you feel that way, because then your heart's changing and the Lord's telling you like, hey, you know what you have and you know what other people don't have. And so to just change my heart into being more generous and giving is something that I felt God did in me.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think the biggest thing for me was not being so appreciative of everything, because I still struggle with that till this day, living in Boerne, Texas, and having everything I want.
Sure.
And I think we got to Mexico, and then going on that recharge, I was like, this feels amazing. But then also in the back of my brain, I was like, I don't feel like I should be doing this right now. Like, I don't feel like I should be on this big boat with this beautiful Gatorade water and on the beach and buying stuff for my family. Like, it didn't feel right in the moment.
Yeah, there's a disconnect. And I think it's intentional. Like, when you go on a trip like that, for one, you want to take a day. There's some of the most beautiful parts of the world. You should enjoy seeing it for a moment, if nothing else, to appreciate just God's creation and beauty. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, there's this disconnect between the lifestyles of the people that you've been serving and serving among for the whole week, and then that last day, you're right. You're sitting on a beach, looking, going like, now I'm back to my, I don't know, comfortable suburban, whatever life, and everything is perfect and smooth, and people are serving me. And it's such a drastic difference. But the reality is, every single day, those people are living in the same lives that you experienced for those 3 or 4 days, 5 days, and so I hope that sticks with you. Like, every minute of every day, there's a whole world out there that lives a little different than we do. Like in the United States, you live in a bubble that is a national bubble. Mm-hmm. And there are people that are poor within our context. There's no doubt about it. But then in Boerne, you're at a kind of a middle upper class version of American understanding, right? And then here within Boerne, there's even similar class distinctions where you might have people that have no need, people who don't. And the way that you live within those things kind of gives you this worldview of how you see the things around you. Like, oh, I don't need anything, or I have all that I need, or it's all about me, all about my desire, my next. I mean, for Americans, all we want is perfect fulfillment momentarily. I want a coffee, get a coffee. You want a new video game, go buy the video game. Like, you don't have to wait for anything. Yeah. And you're right. Like, the people that are there in Mexico, especially in those poor parts of Mexico, those colonias, squatters colonias, they don't even own the property they live on. And somebody could come in tomorrow and say, hey, you got to get out of here. And the government tells them they have to leave, and they're up and moving away.
Yeah.
So hold on to that.
Yeah.
I promise you, every single day you're going to be tempted to forget about it. Like, there's nothing about your world here in Boerne that will remind you of that if you don't discipline yourself to think about them.
Definitely.
And so I think a lot of people like to go. They like to go feel it once again every year, go see it, go. But there's more than that. It's more than just an experience. It's how it transforms us into somebody new.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's exciting. So those were a couple of impacts. What do you think you need to do differently here to maybe to live by what you learned while you were on your trip? That's a tough one.
Yeah. It is a tough one because there's not a lot you can do to like not necessarily like replicate what you felt and saw in Mexico, but like there's not a lot you can do to kind of put yourself in their shoes, and it's hard to remind yourself because we are so fortunate and have so many things. But I think just constantly praying, and like I'm constantly praying for the kids in Mexico.
Yeah, that's great.
Like I remember we were making like these string bracelets in Mexico and stuff, and so every time I look at them, like I remember the kids and I pray for them. And so that's just one way I like set my heart aside for a minute or two to just think about them, think about their needs, and ask for God's hand of protection over them.
Yeah, I think praying is the biggest thing that you could do. It's probably the biggest thing you can do is just pray, and God will move something.
Yeah, I won't put you on the spot and ask you how much are you praying and how much time do you try to spend. But those are good things to think about as well. You know, for those of you who are listening today, you might ask the question of how do you help, or how do you think through impacts on a trip like this, and how do you think about the implications when you come back home? And I would say one of the simple things is to think through some disciplines. Right, disciplines are planned activities for a purpose. Right, so like if the purpose is to remember what God did, then spend some time write a story. Both of you have another year or 2 or 3 of school. And as you think about even your school, do projects focused on what happens in Mexico. If you get a chance to do an event, maybe do an event and fundraise for that group there. You know, there's going to be those kind of opportunities. But tell the story. That's probably the simplest. You guys are here on the podcast. You're the first people from this year's Mexico team on here. So you guys are breaking ground for the team. Yeah. And so I would definitely continue to encourage you guys, find ways to tell the story. Every year we have 2 publications, one international one that we do in November and one local one that we do in April. If either one of you want to tell a story, kind of work it out and write it down, we'd love to put it in one of those magazines or put it online where people can read it. But we'd love to have different ways, different mediums that people can engage with what you learned and what God did. Especially those people. Remember, our whole church was praying for you. Yeah. Some of them were giving to help you guys go. Oh, yeah. We had a significant scholarship fund that provided for a lot of our students to help them out at the costs. And so there's a couple things you should know from the church. One is that we're extremely proud of you. Like it's a lot of work and it's a lot of risk to take on going to another country. Did your either one of your parents go with you?
Hers did.
Your mom got to go.
Mine didn't.
No, okay,
mine was like, you are not going to go.
You're not going to Mexico without me. But
Yeah.
That's how we would be. I've taken my kids on a lot of our trips, but I haven't sent them out of the country without us yet. So that takes a whole different level of commitment. But ladies, I pray that this is something that will last for a very long time for you. Yeah. And there are lots of other ways you can engage. You can engage locally. You might know that we have opportunities here within Boerne and the San Antonio area to do some missions work, some of them even with unreached people groups like Afghan refugees down in San Antonio. Yeah. But beyond that, there's some classes you should consider taking the Perspectives course sometime between now and graduating college, like the next 5 years. Take that class. It'll reform your heart, and it'll also give you a different way of seeing what you guys experienced last year. And so the church is behind you. We're super excited for you. Anything else you want to say before we finish up?
I think that's it.
Yeah. That's it. That's okay. One more question. What was the best food you had while you were south of the border?
We had tacos.
every single night.
Like street tacos are like they're everything down there. Like it's amazing.
Tell me why I thought it was potatoes in our tacos. It was pineapple. There was pineapple in the tacos, and it wasn't bad. It was just so strange.
Yeah, I thought it was potatoes, and I bit it, and I was like, that's a pineapple. And I like put it back down and I was like,
I'm telling you, that is not normal. I've been down. I lived in Mexico for 2 years. I've been in a lot of taco places. I've never had a taco with pineapple in it.
No, it was crazy.
That's interesting.
We got tortas?
Oh, tortas are fantastic.
They were so good. But one of the meat, it like tasted like dog food. And I was like, I can't do this. I had to like put it aside. But it was so good. I scarfed the thing down. It was so yummy. And then what was it? The drink? It was yellow or orange.
Okay, there's this one drink. It was cucumber and mint.
Oh, I sipped it down. It
Loved
was so
it.
good.
No one else on our team liked it.
And mint.
No one else on our team liked it.
So
She was
yummy.
the only one.
And she got all of it. Since no one else liked it, you get to drink as much as you want.
Yeah, like I gave Aaron mine. Like some people gave her some.
Yeah.
It was
But
crazy.
then after I had the really bad poops after drinking it. I was like, why did I do that?
So good for our,
oh my gosh.
the podcast. Listen, that we won't go into the bathroom problems that you get south of the border, but they tend to go with it. So that's hilarious.
Gosh,
that's hilarious. Well, ladies, it has been a lot of fun. And I really appreciate you coming on here.
Thank you for
spending a few
inviting
minutes.
us.
So the podcast, we call it the So That Podcast, and it takes, it's really talking about the verses of Psalm 67 where it says, may the Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine on you. But then it says, so that your name will be made known among the nations, your salvation among all the peoples. And I always want to remind not only my guests that the reason why God calls us is not just for us.
Yeah.
It's so that we can be a blessing to those around us. And so I always want to say it to our listeners as well. Guys, be a blessing wherever God has given you opportunity. Don't take for granted all the ways that he blesses our lives. It's not just for me. It's not just for you. It's not just for your families. Those are all wonderful things. But it's so that his name will be made known among the nations. And so thank you for serving. Thank you for going. And those of you listening, I hope this has been encouraging to you. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to us here at First Baptist. And we'd love to hear from you. Have a wonderful day. God bless. We are so thankful that you joined our podcast today. We would love to hear any feedback you may have for us. Remember, Psalm 67 says, may God be gracious to us and bless us, and make his face shine on us, so that your ways may be known on earth and your salvation among all nations. Don't forget why the Lord blesses us. It's so that we can be a blessing to those around us. Until next time, God bless.